Time Radio's Rebel DJ Style, and if you want a free sticker, you can beat me in Trivia Crack. The Discord will get it done for you. I'm, of course, joined by Jules on the board.
Hi.
And WSRR's own writer, Shane E.
Hey, everyone.
Guys, it's time to hashtag Resolve21. If you're not familiar with what that means, we're taking a look back at things that have been issues for many, many years that have kind of been brushed under the rug and should have been solved by now. Last week, we talked about the dangers of YouTube Kids and why parents really shouldn't be letting their kids go on these apps specifically targeted for kids. This week, we're going to take a step back and look at a broader spectrum. Why don't we just land on the damn moon already?
Yeah, no, I agree. I've had it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't matter at this point. Like, we know that we can, and we know that we have the capabilities. It's just a matter of, do we really want to do that? You know.
So my whole thing, and I always get a lot of fucking flack for this, and we did it when we talked about the moon landing a couple months back now. But I don't think we landed on the moon. I don't think there's convincing evidence we landed on the moon.
We've debated over this. I think it's probably dude, I don't know.
Like I said, there is a chance. I just don't think there's a lot of concrete evidence there.
Yeah, no, there isn't. Like, do some crate digging, do some research. It's actually like kind of a toss up as to if we landed on the moon or not. It's not like it's common knowledge that we landed on the moon, but there's a lot of evidence going against that, saying like Stanley Kubrick completely directed the moon landing, and
right.
There's like lighting problems. I don't know. There's a whole lot that goes into it, but it kind of can hold its own.
But back then, they didn't have the editing and all that, like, as good as that video.
Yeah, that's why the video's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Well, I believe we landed on the moon and we just haven't been back because there's nothing on the moon.
Okay, but to that point, we barely touched the surface of the moon. We went, I don't remember the exact number, but it's only like a 300-meter radius or something that we actually explored while we were there. If we have been to the moon, why haven't we been back to explore more?
Yeah.
That's, if you believe we've been to the moon, that's my hashtag Resolve21 is, why haven't we, obviously we can do it. Elon Musk's sending shit to Mars every other week.
Yeah.
So why can't we get someone on the moon now?
My theory is maybe the first time they went to the moon, something happened with Earth, because the moon, it affects Earth a lot. You know, like everything, you know what I'm trying to say?
I feel like there's, like it has a lot to do with space garbage too, because we just throw all that space shit, you know, we just leave it out in space, and we're like, well, it's their problem now. So I feel like it has to do with maybe that, like, from a realistic standpoint, it has to do with space garbage, and also maybe Mars has kind of sidetracked us. I feel like we're on a big Mars path right now for what Mars is the new moon, and so maybe that's been like
Mars is the new moon. You heard it here first, folks.
Right? Like, that's kind of what it is. People treat going to Mars like how we treated going to the moon back then.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we got to get to Mars. But
I heard there was...
Moon, why don't we go back?
Right.
I heard there was like another Cold War happening with, like, remember how it was the moon and U.S. and like Russia or
it's
whatever?
the space race.
Yeah. There's another one happening with Mars. Like, that's what somebody said on, like...
Hey, technology's come a long way. We can easily green screen that shit in.
Yeah.
I could do that. U.S. government, hit me up, man. I got a degree in that. I can fucking get you to the Mars.
Hey, we're a team of degrees in that.
Okay, so here's my thing.
$2,000. Gotcha.
So we got three options here as far as, because I want a definitive, regardless of where you stand on what you believe, if we went to the moon, if we didn't, what we saw up there. We haven't been back, and that's my biggest issue is, regardless of what you believe, if we've landed on the moon, we haven't searched nearly any of it. Like, the smallest degree of space we've covered. There's a whole other side that we haven't even sent rovers to, essentially. But so there's three main things. Number one, if you're of the belief we haven't been to the moon, why don't we go there? We can get rovers to Mars. We can get everything up there now. We got space stations, satellites, everything like that. Fuck, Elon Musk does it for fun in his free time. We can get a man to the moon.
Yeah.
Number two, if you do believe we were up there, why don't you want to go back knowing that we haven't discovered anything else up there? Knowing that the only documentation that we have from up there has been, quote unquote, taped over from NASA. NASA put out a press release saying they lost the actual footage because it was taped over. Number three, if you believe we've been up there, to tie into it, if you believe we've been up there and there's a reason we're not going back as far as extraterrestrials or something on the moon, or fuck, maybe it's made of cheese, I don't give a shit. But if there's a reason we're not being up there, why are we not more curious to know what that is?
Tying into extraterrestrials, like late 2020, they said there is evidence of something else out there.
Late 2020, the U.S. government released a shit ton of files, 500-something pages long, of UFO and unidentified flying object and all this other sightings and reportings, and that kind of got brushed under the rug with all the COVID stuff.
Maybe we did go to the moon, and maybe they told us not to come back.
Maybe you should pour through that 500-page document and get some evidence there, Chief.
Maybe we did go to the moon and they didn't tell us. Like, who's to say?
That's fair.
Who's to say we haven't been back to the moon a couple times and we just don't
That's
know
a good point.
about it?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't. They do it at night or something like that, or from like an underground base, they launch
They're
it.
sleeping.
Yeah, and then we go because no one's gonna be able to I mean, I guess there are people looking at the moon at all times, but
Right.
would anybody be able to see, landing on the other side of the
Like,
right.
They don't do televised launches anymore, do they? Like, that's not
Musk
a thing.
did when SpaceX first formed. They had the one
Yeah,
to Mars,
but that's
and then they had that
different.
one that failed.
That's Elon Musk, but like all of NASA, they used to televise all of their launches, like everything.
Yeah.
But like they don't do that anymore.
Well, it's because they don't really launch anything anymore, as to what we know.
I mean, we got people out there. When did that happen?
I don't know. Why don't you ask them? Why don't you go secure an interview with the astronauts on the space
No.
station?
Okay, so you know how they do those videos from the space station where
Yeah.
they just like put shit in the air? I watched this one video on TikTok of this astronaut that came back, and he just like put something like in the air and it dropped, and he said, "Fuck." And when
What is that? Was it SpongeBob? The fucking you got your toothpaste and my peanut butter? That's what I think of when I think about that. That's a complete fucking sidebar. So to your point, Shane, I like that idea because I haven't thought about the fact that maybe we have been back and we just don't
Right.
know about it.
That would make sense.
And we're going down this rabbit hole. I said before we started recording, I want to get back into conspiracies on this show, and here's my perfect window of opportunity. So hear me out, and this kind of just clicked randomly when you said that. So theoretically speaking, logistically, when launching a rocket or some kind of spacecraft, there's going to be people who are going to see it's a massive fucking thing. It's loud as all hell,
Mm-hmm.
But there are places that no one's around for miles and miles, Area 51 even, And obviously you're going to see something in the air, but so here's my idea. What if, and this could be all throughout the past, 12 years, the Obama administration into the Trump administration, throughout all of that, we've been launching ballistic missiles and different missiles like that at Syria and other countries, Iraq, the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we launch those, and it's typically, especially in the 8-year Obama administration, they were never hard reasoning behind them until they were already launched.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of shoot first, ask questions later.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not to get fucking political because I don't give a shit. But you blow up whatever the fuck you want, man. But so what if they shot these out literally as an excuse to get people's attention on that while they launched a rocket?
Mm-hmm.
You got shit flying through the air anyway.
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely think that something like that, where either misdirection, or that'd probably make the most sense, right? Like misdirection of
Right.
We're bombing Syria right now, and then
Yeah, over in the corner.
yeah, over here.
Or
towards the
even
moon.
to that, if it's a national thing, if it's a government thing, the White House are the ones that granted Elon Musk the money for SpaceX to launch his rocket to Mars. So that was televised. Now, what if the White House granted that money to Elon Musk to launch his rocket to Mars? Meanwhile, NASA was over here launching one to the moon with people on it.
Yeah. I definitely could see that shit. And it's cool too, because this was something else I wanted to get into. The Pentagon has 6 months to release all of the information that they know about UFOs.
Yep.
So I don't think anything. I don't know. I feel like that, when all of the news does break, it's not going to be insane. I think we're gonna react to it the way that we would react to that type of news, where it's like, oh man, this was crazy, but we kind of already had a feeling some of this was
Right.
going on,
Those tinfoil hat dudes are gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna love it. They're gonna nut.
They're gonna
be
print
great.
that shit out,
Yeah.
put it in a hardcover book.
But then again, it is the U.S. government, and while they're supposed to release it within 6 months, they will find a loophole around it, just like someone's certain
Yeah.
emails and things like that. But there's always a loophole. So if they really don't want to release and there's really something there, they probably won't. I hope they do. I want to hear what everybody else has to think about this. The Discord server's going live now. StylesRubRadio.com will get you there. If you're watching live and uncut day one on this Monday evening on Facebook, Styles Rub Radio on Facebook will get you there. Leave it in the comment section below. Or you can send us an email, stylesrebelradio@gmail.com. We'll get that done. But I want to know what you guys think. As far as this hashtag Resolve21 goes, just be curious. The last time we had a very direct message. Hashtag Resolve21. Get people off, get parents and their kids off kids' YouTube because it's literally a targeting site for kids. If you didn't see the last episode, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, wherever you get your podcast from, you can check it out there.
And Apple.
And Apple, apparently, now. They didn't tell us, but we're on Apple. But this time around, I want you to do some research. I want you to ask questions. Hashtag Resolve21. At Astronauts if you want, at whoever you want on Twitter, and see, ask why haven't we been back? What's up there? What don't we know? Because there's a lot we don't know about the original moon landing entirely.
Yeah. Why don't we know that we've been
back
there?
Exactly. Hashtag Resolve21, get back to the moon is what I'm going to say.
At the Astronauts. Have you been to the moon recently?
At NASA. When's the last time you were at the moon?